Namaskar. Welcome to Insurance Alert Broadcast. This is Vivek JAIN, Editor-in-Chief. Today, we are going to talk to a stalwart from the insurance industry who has more than 34 years of experience in general insurance space. He started his career with New India and now he is a Chief Operating Officer of Orient Insurance in UAE. So let's talk to him.
So the first thing is, what do you think where this general insurance industry is heading in UAE?
Insurance market in the UAE, pretty much like other parts of the world, is undergoing a shift. Not so much as what it is doing, but how it is doing. There has been a shift from the traditional way of doing insurance to a digital way of doing insurance. So that shift has brought about enormous change, both in terms of the way insurance is sold and also the way insurance is practiced, particularly the business processes. For instance, in our company, Orient Insurance, we have moved from a paper-based process to a paperless kind of working. We have our own document management system and electronic workflow, and both are intertwined to give a near paperless experience, both for us and also for our customers. And most of the people are following this. We are kind of a pioneer in the sense we started our digital transformation journey 6 years ago. So we have covered substantial ground, but others are also doing it now. They have started at least. So the business processes, the way insurance is conducted, the way the policies are sold, and the way the clients are serviced, both policy servicing and the claims management, there is a very strong shift, a paradigm shift from the traditional way of doing to digital way of doing, where mostly things are getting automated with minimal human intervention. That's one thing. And second, insurance industry by its very nature, it is responsive to the needs of the market and to the needs of the economy. So it has to constantly reinvent itself by creating new products. The products creation is a more of an evolutionary process. New products are being discussed, new products are brought into the market along with the way it's being handled, as I said, over the digital way of doing things. And another thing is mergers and acquisitions I can talk about. In the past, there had never been any activity in this area of mergers and acquisitions, but recently, two Takaful companies have merged, and we have reason to believe one or two mergers may happen in the not too distant past. That's in terms of M&A. And as regards business development, insurance industry itself is divided into three divisions or segments, if you will. One, of course, is a small scale industry, that's a tiny sector, and another is a medium one, and the third is a large industry. These large industries, they're not subject to vagaries of fluctuating market conditions. They have to take insurance. They have properties to protect. They have business interruption to cover. They have men to insure, both life and medical insurance. And they also have the liability exposure. So that will not alter much. It will not alter whether the economy is doing well or not doing well, because they have to protect their interests and their balance sheet. So there's no change seen in that segment. Medium industry is also pretty much the same. They also take insurance. Certain dip is seen at the lower strata of the pyramid, small scale and tiny sectors. Yes, of course. Some of them, unfortunately, have kind of been hit by this current market conditions, thanks to the unprecedented COVID-19. But this is how the market is.
Do you think this pandemic has increased the awareness and business especially in health insurance and business protection plans?
Yes, every crisis, every catastrophe that hits mankind is an eye opener for people to see how vulnerable they are
Yeah.
to the fluctuating fortunes of life and how they're exposed. And it happens even by a pandemic situation. Whenever a high-rise building goes up in flames, suddenly we receive a flurry of home insurance requests for quote. But that kind of, it peaks and it plateaus and then slowly it tapers off because fundamentally people feel that unless it's ingrained into the culture that insurance is an important aspect of living. For most of us, it's like, we always believe that the worst may happen to my right-hand side neighbor or the left-hand side neighbor.
Correct. Yeah.
I'll be safe. So eventually, that lethargy kicks in. And so like that, this catastrophe has really awakened people's awareness as to how vulnerable they are and how they have to protect them and their property. So to that end, yes, definitely there has been an awareness. You asked about medical. In this part of the world, medical insurance is mandatory, at least in our country where we live
Okay.
in the United Arab Emirates. Everyone needs to have a medical insurance, either purchased by the employer or by people for their dependents. So there wasn't any major increase in terms of number of people who bought because they were covered anyway.
Already.
But there has been an increasing demand that we see in terms of asking for wider coverage, a top-up cover, and also, less deductibles, less copay, things like that. So the DNA of the products are undergoing a change because the demands are different. Earlier, they would just be happy with whatever cover they had. They only looked at the type of medical providers which fall within their network, good hospitals, good clinic. Now people are more aware of the type of insurance, medical insurance they have. So to that end, yes, there is a change in the awareness as to the quality of insurance they buy for them and for their family. Another thing that's coming up recently, not necessarily on the back of this COVID, but as an evolutionary process, UAE is fundamentally an expat-driven market. 90% of the population are from different countries,
Yeah.
and major chunk are from India. People come with some kind of monetary limit or a time limit when they board the plane to come here. Either they say that I'll have some 25 lakhs in my bank and then I'll go back to India and I shall live happily ever after, or I'll be here for 3 years, 5 years, and then I'll go back. When I boarded the plane, I had 3 years in my mind. That was nearly 25 years ago. And still that 3 years are not over. And I'm not the only person. But eventually, we'll have to get back to our mother country. And when we go back, the one major thing that everyone is very, very concerned about is their health. And they know that they need to have a proper medical insurance that will take care of them, not so much as outpatient as, outpatient treatment can be managed. If should there be an unfortunate major illness and which requires hospitalization, or people have some chronic illnesses. So that's the major concern. And people are more and more looking to buy medical insurance that would cover them whenever they get back to India, to cover them particularly chronic conditions, pre-existing conditions. Because when somebody reaches 60 years and go back to the country, it's rather unusual for someone to be free from chronic or pre-existing condition, thanks to the way of living these days. We all have the sedentary life. So they look at that kind of a medical product, hospitalization cover, that will pick up the cost of both covering medical treatment of pre-existing and chronic conditions and other illnesses. They're not so much concerned about the deductibles or copay that they can manage, but they're looking at a top end. Medical costs being what they are these days, that's one thing that could eat into the savings of people when they eventually get back to the country. So this is the change that happens in the medical insurance field. And anything else you asked or the change?
That's right.
Or only medical?
And the business interruption policy.
Yeah. Business interruption. And normally, business interruption insurance would have a material damage proviso.
Okay.
What it means is there has to be fundamentally an event that brings about a physical damage to the property insured, and then business interruption will kick in. Even where some extensions are given about denial of access cover, even then, the denial of access should be due to operation of an insured peril to a neighboring property, which kind of prohibits access to the insured property. So there has to be a physical damage. But not many thought of non-physical damage, business interruption. Maybe in some cases like hotels or resorts where they said, if there was some suicide or some kind of an infectious illness, so that kind of brings about a temporary closure of the operations. So that was that at a very, very minuscule level, that too restricted to hospitality industry, like non-physical damage, business interruption. No one ever had a crystal ball to look into the future. A year ago, to see that the world would be different, and there would be stoppage of work without anything happening physically to the property. But so we live and learn. That's what mankind is all about. We are all students of life, and we learn from this experience. Now, this has opened the ideas. Now, how to cover this is not, though our clients, all our clients, they come, those who have business interruption cover, they say that there's no business, there is an interruption. We cannot go on conducting business.
Yeah.
We are not getting material from our suppliers. Our customers don't need our material because there is a downward trend in economy. So we suffer. But unfortunately, we are not able to pay those losses because insured at the end of the day is a business contract. And something has to happen within the four corners of the contract. Merely a person suffering a financial loss does not necessarily a kind of entail a claim under the policy. It has to be due to an operation of an insured peril, fundamentally. Even if it's an all-risk cover, it should not be due to any excluded event or excluded peril. It's a tightly worded, a commercial contract. But sometimes clients, they say, I've taken policy, I've never claimed 10 years, 15 years, now I'm suffering. But it's not easy to do this insurance because the scale, the enormity, the magnitude of this event is so huge that we do not know how to even study the exposure. And when you cannot study the exposure, you cannot price it. And when you cannot price it, you cannot insure it. Maybe the world will come out, of course there is an LMA, London Market Agreement, and there has been some court cases, particularly in England, and the different schools of thought, different interpretations happen. But the insurance industry has to come out with some kind of a common understanding and rules and regulations to find out how the business world can be protected in future, because there's a responsibility the insurance industry has to. Our job, insurers' job, is to be by the side of the people when they suffer a loss. So I'm sure people are thinking about it, and then something will happen, and we'll have a new product that will cater for this kind of scenario. Yes, sir.
What is the distribution model of your company, and from where you get the major of business?
Ours is a composite insurance company. We sell all classes of insurance: life, medical, marine, aviation, liability, everything. The entire Emirates is insured by us. Like that, we do all kinds of insurance. Personal lines, retail is on a web-enabled platform. So it's online through the portal. all the personal lines, and even the retail businesses that we do is all through the portal. It's not much of insurance. Traditionally used to be a contact business. Client and the salesman, they meet,
Yeah.
they interact, they exchange, and then it's an iterative process, and then eventually the deal is closed. But at least in the personal lines and retail space, that contact business is slowly giving way to an electronic way of doing things. Commercial, we do it direct and through brokers. That's how our market segment is. Even in commercial, people, now we live in an instant world. We no more cook food now. We microwave or fix our food, and we don't use a rotary dial to telephone. You speed dial or you use voice to call, and then it's an instant world. So people, patience is gone, and then they don't have time to wait for an answer. So even in the commercial space, we are talking about the millennials who themselves have become middle-aged now. Now, one has to reach certain age to purchase insurance. You have to be at least early 20s to be able to buy insurance, personal insurance. But these millennials, now they have reached a corporate world, and good many of them are in a position to decide the purchase of insurance for their corporates. And these millennials are followed by the Zen generation. So these are the people who want instant answers to their questions. They're extremely well informed. So you don't have to go and start from scratch and explain everything about insurance. They're very well informed, they're very knowledgeable. They just want to see what they look for. And if it's available online, even most of the commercial insurances, it's happening even now. But moving forward, for us, even the inflow of information for corporate insurance comes through our portal. And then we have our own CRM, and then our rating engine and rating tools. So man and machine work together for our corporate insurance, and we do. So to answer your question, for our personal lines, it's completely online. Retail, online. Commercial segment, the data handling, the data analytics, processing the data, that's to a large extent online. It's some kind of fine-tuning the terms and conditions, and that the human phase has to come. And that's happening through the traditional contact way. And in terms of processing them at the back end, to a large extent, it's paperless for us, and a repetitive manual and mundane acts are done by the machine. Where there is a great deal of cognitive functions are involved, we have, that's where human intervention happens. That also, slowly that's giving way to artificial intelligence and machine learning, building algorithms. These kind of stuff will come, and slowly we'll find a very, very thin layer of businesses carried out by human, both in selling them and in handling them. Otherwise, everything will be done with the collaborative efforts of man and to a large degree mission.
Okay, that's it. So you will basically don't have much agents network kind of a thing.
Agency network, we have our direct sales force.
Okay.
We have close to 500 people, feet on street, foot soldiers. They're the ones who sell. We have we're one of the very few insurance companies who have such a large direct sales force. Then for the commercial insurance, of course, we have brokers, we have direct clients, major clients, and we also have agreement with banks, bank assurance. So these banks sell our products, our insurance product to their customers, and our people assist them. Online, personal, banks, direct customers, and bank assurance. These are all the various ways through which we sell our products.
Which are the customer oriented initiatives taken by your company?
I beg your pardon?
Like the initiatives which you all have taken for the policy holders, for your customers.
Yeah, policyholders, all personal lines and retail customers, they have, they purchase online.
Yeah.
And even for the commercial, our marine is completely online.
Yeah.
They can download the marine certificates. All only high-end property insurance and liability classes uh, where schedules are there. That's where it is done in a traditional way.
You also you're in life insurance space also. So you think your life insurance you're able to sell online? Because in India the experience is not
Yeah, life
that
insurance,
good
we are
for
selling
life insurance.
online. No, we have uh, of the 500 people sales force, I said, more than 250 of our life salesmen.
Okay.
And they do sell online, and each one carries a kind of a tablet. So each one becomes a virtual office in himself or herself. So she carries a tablet and then goes and talks to the prospect and then get the form filled in, signed on the screen, and then the system files the application form to the underwriter if it is not a pre-underwritten product. If it's a pre-underwritten product, the sale can be closed immediately, and there is a payment gateway, and then electronic payment is made. So only a referral needs to be done, and from the tablet itself, it fires an email to the underwriters, and then they check it, and then they see whether it can be underwritten or additional information would be required, or some medical examination needs to be done based on the age or the sum assured, or other underlying conditions or morbidities. So yeah, life insurance lends itself very well to online kind of sales. Now there is a paradigm shift. Now we have to, old ways will not open new avenues. Fundamental philosophy of life. When I started insurance, the good old days, telex was like, we used to look at it like a miracle machine at teleprinter. Somebody types in some town, some city, and then real time we get it. That was a real miracle machine for us. Then that gave way to fax, and then fax came, and that changed the world. Um, why? Even when I started work, they had this facet calculator, the
Yeah.
rotary calculator. That's what they used to do.
Yeah.
Now things have changed, and the computers came. They were not even called computers; they were called microprocessors.
Yeah.
They came, and they changed. Now even here, this COVID-19, yes, it's causing enormous pain and agony to mankind, but it's also proving to be a game changer. Now, like now, if you see the history of mankind, every major crisis is an inflection point. It brings about a fundamental phenomenal change. Like so many inventions can be attributed to global wars. Like the very computer was the invention during the World War II. There are many things, they can say that. So like that, this now physical meeting is slowly vanishing.
Yeah.
The people are more, initially they said how we can have meeting on the screen now. Virtual meeting is just accepted. Whenever I talk about digitalization to my people, I always say this incident that I'm told it happened. Of course, I'm not too sure whether it really happened or not, but this small incident drives home the point. They say that when Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone, uh, uh, telephone conversation was made between him and then the United States president. And the conversation was over. After that, the president was asked, how was the experience? And whereupon he said, I believe, well, it was nice, but who will ever talk to a machine? At that time, it was unthinkable for anyone to talk to a machine. When you talk to a face, a human face. So now you see, if you go to a restaurant, a family of four, each is busy looking at the handheld phone. They don't even look at one another and talk. So things change
Exactly.
like that. These virtual meetings and many things that happen working from home, all those things will bring about a fundamental change in the way we carry our business. And slowly, even this brick and mortar kind of establishment, even the offices will become meaningless. Now, what people can do from home or from a coffee shop or from restaurant or on a beach while they are on a vacation as effectively and as efficiently as they can do at office space. Why would they even need to come to the office? Other than those, the front end business salesmen who need to go and meet the people. Otherwise, everything can be done virtually from anywhere. Distance and stations don't matter anymore. So probably this will prove to be a game changer, and maybe 10 years down the road, the way insurance will operate will be, we don't know. Quite frankly, we don't know what lies beyond the horizon of 10 years time. But it's very encouraging. Of course, people like me, maybe closer to retirement, but the next generation, I'm sure it will be a lot more fun, a lot more interesting, and a lot more meaningful to carry out business of insurance.
That was great, sir, talking to you. And
thank you, sir. I hope it was worth your time. And
yes, 100%.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we got a lot of knowledge about your country, how insurance is done in your country, and definitely all our readers and viewers, they would love to hear to you about what's happening in your country.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thanks for this, and I wish you well.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.